Today we will be talking about different skills and how they relate to the workplace and the different ways that you can begin assessing your skills that you already have to begin thinking about how these might be transferable to a workplace. A question that might come up during a job interview or when meeting an employer might be, what skills do you have that separates you from the rest? So it's important to think about, what would you say? A good way to kind of show your abilities or show your skills or achievements might be by showing a portfolio or having a portfolio. So think about, this might be something important for you to have when meeting an employer or being able to have the proof of your skills and abilities. So why study your skills? There's a good quote on here that says, words that express skills are the language of employment. In other words, this is the way that you can separate yourself or talk about how you are unique from the rest. It's essential that you are aware of what you have to offer. There are 3 different types of skills groups, and we will be going over each one. The first one that we will be talking about are the functional or transferable skills, and these are expressed as verbs. So these are things that you do or behaviors. So for example, teaching, organizing, persuading, computing, analyzing, etc. These can be developed naturally. These skills are in all areas of your life and can probably be transferred into a job. So for example, if you have knowledge about the Bible and have taught a church class, there's a good chance that you could be able to take those skills from teaching and organizing and transfer them to teaching high school history class. However, it might not just be enough to mention the skills. You may also have to connect it to a work content or specific knowledge skills. This leads us to the second group of skills that we are going to be talking about. These are the work content or specific knowledge skills. These skills are usually expressed as nouns, and they're very specific to a job. They are things that you know. So for example, if you were applying for a job as a mechanic, you may want to emphasize that you know car parts, or a job as a translator. You may want to emphasize that you know a foreign language, or a job as a history teacher. You may want to emphasize that you know the history of Greece. So again, this is knowledge that you have and that relates to a very specific part of that job. And again, there's a difference between the content versus transferable skills. The content is the knowledge, whereas the transferable skills are the things that you do. The third group is the adaptive self-management skills. So these are often considered as your personal traits or qualities rather than skills. They describe you, they characterize you. These skills help you adapt to the very specific environment and survive. So for example, you may be very skilled at being a social person or working as a team. And if you apply for a job that has that type of environment, these skills or these characteristics will help you survive in that very specific environment. They are transferable and can be transferred to your work environment. It's important to also note that there are natural skills versus learned skills. So the natural skills might be things like your personality, your characteristics, where the learned skills, kind of self-explanatory, are things that you have learned based off of your experiences. There's also something that I hear students talk about a lot, and that's the self-awareness versus bragging or selling yourself short. So when having to talk about your skills, I sometimes hear students talk about how it might be difficult to talk about yourself or how to exactly market yourself in a job interview. So it's important to know the skills that you have so that you're adequately aware of what you know and what you have to offer. And consider having to show these very specific skills. Your skills is what sets you apart from the rest. It's what makes you unique. And it answers the question, who are you? So consider all of your accomplishments and think about what skills did you have or did you use to achieve those achievements. There's also a great website called ONET, and you can see this here on the PowerPoint. I encourage you to check it out. So if you have very specific career development paths or tracks, ONET is a good website where you can search those very specific jobs or careers, and it will give you a list of the very specific skills that are needed to be in that very specific career. And again, transferability is key. Here you'll see is the list of the skills and abilities for today's workplace. So this was a study that investigated what characteristics businesses, organizations, or community agencies are seeking for in future employees. Here you'll find the top 10 skills graduate recruiters want. So again, you'll see commercial awareness, so being able to know how a business or an industry works. Communication, so verbal, written, and listening skills, being able to be clear, concise, and focused, and tailor your answers to a very specific audience. Teamwork, so balance team player and management roles. Negotiation and persuasion, so being able to put forth your way, but understand people's sides as well. And problem solving, so the ability to take logical and analytical approach to problem solving. Take a moment to look at the first half of this list and think about how these skills may already be things or skills that you are working on in your classes or since you've been here in college. So for example, if you've worked in a group project before, you may be already working on your teamwork skills, or if you've written an essay, a persuasive essay, you may be working on your communication skills and also on your negotiation and persuasion skills. Here's the second half of the top 10 skills graduate recruiters want. So you'll see leadership, organization, perseverance, and motivation, ability to work under pressure, and confidence. So again, take a look at this list and think about your experiences. Reflect on what you already may have, and what are some of the skills you are working on right now. And lastly, here's a quick activity that you can do and follow along with. So if you have a sheet of paper, go ahead and take that out and think about an accomplishment you have had which took a lot of work for you to get there. So in other words, maybe things like graduating college, getting on the dean's list, making a varsity soccer team, or anything like that. Something that you feel that was an accomplishment for you. And I want you to state why it was important to you. What did it take for you to get there? So in other words, how did you prepare? What did you sacrifice? Try to add as much detail as possible. And repeat this with a different accomplishment on the other side of the paper. Then once you are done, I want you to read through your accomplishment statements and try and list all of the different skills you have used during these events. This is a good way to begin identifying what are the skills that you already have, and also begin practicing how you can market yourself on the skills that you have and not selling yourself short. So again, this is a good activity for you to try at home.